In this tutorial, we are going to talk about writing a program which is going to print all the even numbers less than or equal to 2000. And at the end, it also prints the sum of all these even numbers. The algorithm works like the following. We are going to start, then we are going to set the initial value of variable I to 1000 and the sum to be equal to 0. We are going to write or display the first number, which is 1000. Then we are going to add 1000 to the sum, so it's going to be 0 plus 1000 becomes 1000. Then it's going to go to the next even number, and we're going to continue this loop until we get to 2000. And then when we are finished, we are going to also print the value of S, which is sum. So let's go ahead and start writing the code. Again, as usual, we're going to start a new project. We're going to call it even numbers and sum. Now, our screen is going to look like this one. What we are going to do is that we are going to change the text of the screen to say even numbers and sum. Now the text is changed. We don't need any input from the user. The only thing we need is the output and also a button. So I'm going to drag and drop a text box here. I'm going to rename it to output. I'm going to change the hint to nothing. And then I'm going to have another button added, which is going to start the process. So I'm going to call the text on the button to be start. So when the user clicks start, it's going to show all the even numbers from 1000 to 2000, and then also the sum at the bottom. So let's go ahead and write the code. I need to keep track of all these even numbers. So I'm going to create a variable called temp. And I'm going to set the initial value to be blank. Now, when the button is clicked, I'm going to go through a loop. So I go to control, drag and drop loop here. Now, if we go back to our algorithm, the loop starts from 1000 and it goes to 2000. So we are going to start from 1000 and we are going to go to 2000 in step of 2. Also, I need a variable called S, which is equal to 0 at the beginning. This is the one which keeps track of the sum. Now, based on the algorithm, our output is going to be displayed with all the even numbers and then at the end the sum. So temp is going to have all the even numbers and S is going to have the sum. So inside the loop, I have to add I to temp. So I'm going to set temp to be again 2 join blocks like this. And I'm going to append the new value of I to previous temp. So I'm going to get temp and add I. Let's change this one to I. and I'm going to get I and add it to this one, plus the new line character. Also, I need to update the sum s. So I'm going to set s to be added to previous sum. So it's going to be the previous s plus I. So I start from 1000, go to 2000, step of 2. Then I'm going to add that even number to temp with a new line character. At the same time, I'm going to add the value of I to my variable sum s. When all these are done, I'm going to update my output. So I'm going to set output text to be equal to this temp joined together with sum. So I'm going to go to text, I'm going to get one join command, and I'm going to add temp and then a new line character and then the sum. But if you see here, for every value that we add to temp, there is a next line character, and the last next line character is going to be a new line. So I don't really need to add another next line character here. I can just add the value of I. So I get the value of s. So I get the global s and I just add it here. Now, if you remember from the previous tutorial, there was a bug. Whenever we do a loop like this one, we have to make sure that all the variables which are used inside the block are initialized. If it's a string to blank, if it's a number to 0. So here, before the loop starts, I'm going to set global temp to blank, and for s, I'm going to set it to 0. This is very important, otherwise our result is going to be copied all the time. Every time you start the app, you are going to add the new values to the previous values. So let's check to see if our app is working. Now, when I look at the code, I can see that there is a problem here. The problem is that we are assuming the output text box is a multi-line, and we can have a new line, which is not. So we forgot to set the multi-line option in text box to true. So go back to the designer, click on the output text box and make sure the multi-line is set to be true. We can go and use the emulator to test the program. So if I click on start, you can see that it stops at 2000 and the sum is 751,500.